Women date alpha males, have sex with alpha males, do all sorts of nasty things with alpha males that they will never tell you about. And when they're all done doing that, guess what they do? They marry the beta male, right? So women date alphas and they marry betas. At the end of the day, that is a woman's dating cycle, right? A lot of women, when they are at the peak of their physical attractiveness in their 20s, late teens, early 20s, and throughout their 20s really, right? Most of these women will ride what's called a CC. You guys know what that is? She will have sex with a number of alpha males, guys who are just bold, maybe some guys who do the claw her, one of my favorite techniques of all time. Takes training, by the way. Don't do that if you are not trained. Right? But yeah, throughout her 20s, women are going to date the alphas. Okay? She's going to date the bad boys. She's going to date those guys that she just can't have. Guys that just won't settle down. She's going to chase these guys to no end. She's going to cry over these guys. She's going to use like those betas as emotional tampons. Right? She's going to cry about the jerks who didn't call her back. The jerk who just pumped and dumped. The jerk who never shows up on time. The jerk who constantly flakes on her. He only comes over after midnight. Right? She's constantly going to be chasing these type of guys in her late teens and throughout her 20s. And then once she hits her epiphany phase, the day she turns 30, right? It's generally when a woman has her epiphany, like, I can't be doing this, what I've been doing in my 20s. I can't be dating these bad boys. I can't depend on them, right? She hits her epiphany phase and she's like wanting to have a family now. She's like, I need somebody stable. I need somebody who's going to come home. I need somebody who's going to return my texts. I need somebody who's going to show up on time. How else are we supposed to bring little Joey to school? Right? I need somebody, a guy who's going to be responsible, who's not going to be getting fired from his job every week. Right? A lot of guys she dated in her 20s, guys were never had jobs, always relying on her, right? Getting fired every week. I've been there. When I was in my 20s, I was getting fired all the time from my jobs. And these are the guys that she dates in her 20s. But again, once she hits her epiphany phase, the very day she turns 30, she is looking for that responsible beta, right? That responsible beta who will be there for her, who she can depend on, rely on. And once she finds that guy, many times he'll already be in her life. She will marry him, right? Because that is a woman's dating cycle. That is a woman's pattern of behavior. Not all, just many of them. I can think of a number of girls I dated that were in their 20s. Finally had enough of guys like me. And the day they turned 30, they were like, no more of this. And they found themselves like a very responsible guy to marry them and to have a family with. Right? And sadly, I've seen a lot of these women too, just now that they got what they want, they're bored. And they're missing those bad boys. They're missing those alphas that used to give them that excitement in their 20s. But here they are, they're with a good guy. They're with a guy who's responsible. They're with a guy who does what he's told. They're with a guy who follows the social narrative. They're with a guy who compromises with her. They're with a guy who actually returns her texts and actually shows up on time. She finally got what she wanted. Yet here she is, bored out of her mind. She's bored out of her mind. Now, I will say there are good women out there, smart women, who cash in their chips early. And I've advised this of, females in my own life, in my social circle and my family. I'm like, cash it in. Don't wait until, you're in your 30s or 40s. Don't do the date the bad boys in your 20s and, date the alpha males and then marry the beta male, right? Because that's what most women do. They date the alphas in their 20s and then they end up marrying the beta male. And it's not fair to that guy, right? It is not fair to him. Especially knowing that you pretty much kicked that dude in the balls in his 20s, right? You ignored that guy. You flaked on him, just like the bad boys were doing to you, right? You did the same treatment to him. You ignored him, you flaked on him, you friend zoned him. And now that you're all used up, Now that you got nothing left, now that you're no longer at the peak of your physical attractiveness, what do? You try to marry the beta, right? Because you know he'll make a stable partner. And then now, fast forward a few years into the marriage, you're bored out of your mind. You're bored out of your mind and you're missing that action you had in your 20s. You're missing those alphas, those bad boys who didn't call you back. You're missing the thrill that they used to give you, right? You're missing that. You know, it's unfortunate because a lot of these betas who marry these women, they can't hang on to them because they just lack that basic game, right? A lot of it's relationship game, but they lack just basic game. And as I teach my students, my own students, I'm like, just because you get married, it doesn't mean that you stop gaming your wife, right? You have to continue to game your wife. And I've mentioned this before, I have a good handful of guys in my 7 months of mastery dating program that are married. And they're not using this stuff to go out there and pick up other women. They're using this stuff on their own wife to save their marriages. And I've had a number of guys email me afterwards going, hey, you saved my marriage, dude. You literally saved my marriage. And I'm like, no, you saved your own marriage because you took action. You joined the program, you took what I was teaching you and you applied it. And you saved your own marriage, okay? All I did was I just put the material out there, right? But you took action and I respect that, you know? And these guys, for the most part, were, you know, on the verge of divorce, you know, where the wife could have taken everything away. And not only would they have been financially crushed, but they would have been emotionally crushed. The point of this coaching video is I want you to understand the cycle of these women who date the bad boys in their 20s and then hit their epiphany the day they turn 30 and then decide to marry the beta. That's what these girls do. They date the alpha, they marry the beta. Okay, I don't want you to be that beta at the end of the line waiting to save her. Like so many of these blue pill cucks in my comment section hating on me, hating on my content do, right? We gotta protect women, we gotta save them. It's like they're grown adults. Right? They're grown adults because there are a lot of women out there who don't do shit like that. There are a lot of women who do cash in their chips early. And we typically call these good women, right? They don't try to like ride out their 20s, baby. Let me ride that CC. Let me see how many more bad boys can give me that thrill, you know. They're not women who are like damaged psychologically because women who do that, for the most part, okay, for the most part, women who do that, who just spend their 20s like living it up, and then in their 30s, they look for the beta male to settle down with. Women who do that are generally a bit screwed in the head. They're not really screwed on so tightly, right? They tend to have psychological problems. That's why they do shit like that. You ever see these women's dating profiles? Like you guys who like do online dating, foolishly, I tell you guys stay off the online dating sites. But you guys who do online dating, you see those women who in their actual profile, they say shit like, I've had my fun. Now I'm ready for you, right? I've had my fun. What do you think she's saying? She's saying she lived up her 20s. She did exactly what I'm telling you in tonight's coaching video. She basically like rode all these alpha males, all these bad boys, partied it up in her 20s, ignored all the nice guys, and now that she's used up, she's ready to settle down with you, right? It is not your job to rescue these women, and I forbid you from doing it. Do not rescue women in their 30s or their 40s, heaven forbid, that are now trying to get married and start a family because they wasted their youth. They wasted their youth, the peak of their physical attractiveness. They wasted it on bad boys, alpha males, jerks, guys who didn't call them back, guys who didn't want anything to do with them. They wasted that shit on those guys, and now they expect you to be there for them at the end of the line. And sadly, society actually supports this shit. Hollywood supports this shit. You see it in movies all the time, right? These betas marrying these used up hags in their 30s and 40s. Like, they're ready to rescue them, like usually like a rich, successful, handsome man waiting to marry her off, right? When in reality, rich, successful, handsome man, no. He knows his value. He's just gonna go for somebody half your age. Because he can. And he's not foolish enough to save somebody that he knows would have kicked him in the balls in his 20s. would probably have ignored him. He's not that dumb. He's not gonna be like, you know, you're not kicking me in the balls twice. You already did it before, you're not doing it again. Right? Because good women, like I said, good women cash in their chips early. I know a number of women who are good that they have no desire to ride out their 20s, riding all these like different guys. They think that's gross. They're like, I just want to find one good man to be with that I could settle down with, that I could start a family with, and that I could form a healthy, quote unquote healthy relationship with. And these are generally the type of women that when they do comment down below, they're just very feminine. They're very classy. They don't use F-bombs. They don't throw out personal attacks. This is why some guy snatched them up, because they're a good woman. That's what guys want. No guy wants a loud, mouthy, disrespectful broad who can't shut her mouth. But that's what these girls do that have these psychological problems, that are mentally just not all together. A lot of times too, these women just have low self-esteem. They don't value themselves. That's why they do shit like that in their 20s, right? They don't value themselves. That's why they chase guys that they know they can't have, that they know will never settle down. And then once they hit their 30s and 40s, they selfishly look for those nice guys, right? Those guys that are easy to manipulate. Those guys that she always ignored, that were always invisible to her, that she always kicked in the balls for the bad boy. She's like, oh, had my fun, now it's your turn. No, don't be that guy. I keep telling you guys, never be that moron, that idiot, waiting for that girl to turn 30 to marry her off, thinking that you finally won after she's been used up. No, because a good woman would give you her youth in her 20s. A good woman would not want to spend her 20s partying, right? Riding the CC, going to the bars and clubs every Friday, Saturday night. Good women don't do that. Good women look to settle down early, period. And I've always said on a number of occasions, I'm like, you know, for students that I've had where they're dating a woman who is in her 20s and they're like, hey, I want to settle down with this chick. And I think she wants to settle down too. And I'm like, that's a fair trade. If she's willing to give you, you know, the rest of her youth in her 20s, then do that, right? A lot of these guys want to have families. You can't stop these guys, by the way. You know, if they really want to have a family, they're going to have a family. Because I get so many guys like, oh, you're advocating for men to walk down into the slaughterhouse. And I'm like, no, you can't stop these guys. They want to have families. All you can do is warn them and tell them, hey, just don't involve the state in your marriage. And I've been there too. I've had girls that I dated in their 20s. Like I told you guys a story like from 2006. I've beaten a dead horse here. I've told a story from 2006 where I would have married that chick, right? Had she given me the rest of her 20s. She was already like 26, I want to say, 26, almost like about to turn 27. Had she just, and I had been with her since she was about 25, right? I had been with her since she was 25. So if she gave me the remainder of her 20s, I would have went the distance with her, right? My old blue pill thinking. I would have went the distance with her. And it would have been fine. I think we would have been okay. I don't think it would have been like a horrible marriage. She wasn't like a gold digger or anything like that. She was always pretty fair, like financially. So, I mean, as far as that aspect goes, I wouldn't have had to worry there, right? We had our own finances. She had a good job at the time. I was working for the Fortune 100. So I think we would have been fine. But she screwed up. Right? She screwed up because I told you guys, like she started listening to her auntie and her girlfriends. Like I tell you girls, your girlfriends never have your best interest at heart. They all want to sabotage you, especially if you're better looking than them. If you're actually attractive and you're pretty, they just want to take you down. Do not trust any of your friends. But that's what happened. She didn't give me the rest of her 20s. She ended up like philangering that away, partying, dating other guys. And guess what? Today, single mom, has 2 kids from 2 different dads, and she's ruined her life. She's completely wrecked her life. And she's wrecked the life of those kids too, beyond her. She probably doesn't think she has, but she has. Just look at the statistics on single moms and what happens to the kids of single moms, right? I actually did a whole coaching video on this called The Scary Statistics of Single Moms. So you can see for yourself what happens to these girls and their kids. So she was another case where she ruined it, and you know what? She tried to come back later, and I was like, nope. right? I was strong enough, even back then, being blue pill, I was strong enough and smart enough to be like, nope. I knew my own value. I was like, no. And look what happened to her. Because she tried to ride it out, right? She tried to ride out her 20s, partying and going out again and doing all this stuff and thinking that some dude would be there at the end of the tunnel, thinking I would be there. I was like, no, I don't think so. Who do you think you're talking to? You know, even though I was like completely crushed when it happened and we broke up, I was like down in the dumps. But I was strong enough to crawl out of that and be like, I know my value. And the very next girl I dated was like a couple of months later, I had a way hotter girlfriend than her. Blonde, blue eyes, way more successful. I was happy. And then, you know, when she saw that, she was like mortified. She's like, oh my God, he's moved on. Oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? And I remember her auntie, even back then, her stupid auntie was like, we could call him and I'm sure we could talk to him. I was like, screw you, screw both of you, screw all of you, screw your entire family, right? I don't want nothing to do with you. I'm happy and I've moved on. And that was that. Fast forward, 2 kids, 2 different dads, looks are gone, completely wrecked herself, wrecked her life, wrecked those kids' lives. It's so sad. But at the end of the day, this is why I tell you guys, watch out for women who do this, where they, and this is gonna be most women that you come across, they're gonna date the alphas in their 20s, right? All those bad boys, and then they're gonna look for the beta to marry in her 30s. Do not be that beta male. Do not be that guy. Period, okay? Period. Do not be that guy. So with that said, I'm gonna wrap up tonight's coaching video. This is M. Do not forget to smash that like button below. Also hit that notification bell right next to it so that you are notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on YouTube. More importantly, guys, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Too many of you guys are still unsubscribed to my channel, okay? So make sure you subscribe. That way you will get notified every time I release a brand new coaching video here on YouTube, okay? You will be the first to find out about it. You won't have to go search, search on YouTube or come across it weeks later. Instead, you will be the first to be notified. Best part is it's free. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe to my channel, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, okay? Helps me out a lot, guys, and I really, really appreciate it if you would just subscribe. So subscribe, okay? And for you guys who want to support my work and all this red pill content that I'm teaching guys here even further, the best way to do that is by jumping into my monthly online coaching program, 7 Months to Mastery, where I am teaching guys just like you how to go out there and approach and close the youngest and most beautiful looking women on the planet. I'm talking 8s, 9s, and 10s. Same type of women that myself and my students are constantly out there approaching and closing every single week. And I kid you not, every single week, I have a ton of infield videos here on my channel as well as on my Instagram. I post a lot of my infield photos there as well. So you guys who aren't following me on Instagram yet, it's @MattCrossOfficial. Make sure you follow me. But if you would like to learn how to approach and close young, beautiful women out there, I teach you how to do that in 7 Months of Mastery. And this is a skill that you need. Do not kid yourself. Every man needs the skill of pickup. Okay, this is something that you are not taught in schools. Your parents, teacher, society did not teach you this shit. And if you go out there trying to attract a girl using that Disney bullshit that you learn from movies, Hollywood, television, if you try to go out there using that Disney shit that you grew up with and thinking that's gonna be enough to attract a beautiful woman into your life, you are deluding yourself, okay? Because you need skill, okay? You need these skills. It takes a lot of skill to pick up a girl above an 8 in looks, okay? It's not that hard to learn, but it does take skill. And I give you those skills in 7 Months of Mastery so that whenever you're out there and you see an attractive girl you want to approach, a pretty girl, a drop-dead gorgeous girl, a cute girl even, that you just want to talk to and you want to see if you could bring her into your life. You want to go on a date with her either that same day or the next day or that weekend. You want to get her in your life. With the skills that you learn in that very first month of 7 Months of Mastery, you will be able to stop that girl, okay? You'll be able to stop her, walk up to her, approach her, get her attracted to you, and you'll be able to do a proper close, whether it be a number close, an instant date, we call it an insta date, or more. You know, you might be able to get a kiss closed right on the street. I've done it a number of times myself. I have infields of myself doing that as well. So do not kid yourself, guys. This is a skill you were never taught by anybody, including your own parents. They didn't know this stuff. Okay, I am one of the top pickup artists in the world. I'm one of the best in the world. And I've been doing this my entire adult life, since the 90s, okay? Before some of you guys were even born, right? I've been picking up girls. This is what I do. This is what I'm good at. And I teach this to thousands, tens of thousands of men all around the world. Okay, I get thank you letters from guys every single day thanking me for saving their lives, saving their marriages, helping them to meet the woman in their dreams, helping them to build a social circle, helping them to build a pool of dating options that they didn't have previously, helping them to get girls that they never could get previously, right? And the first month of 7 months of mastery is only $1. Okay, so it's only $1 for the entire first month of coaching lessons. And even from the lessons in that first month alone, you will have enough skill to be able to stop any attractive girl you see out there and do a proper approach and close on her. And right now I'm giving away a free cheat sheet in the first month of 7 months of mastery. I'm giving away a free cheat sheet. And in that free cheat sheet, I am giving you my top 5 openers, both direct and indirect, right? That way, whenever you approach a girl, you'll know exactly what to say, exactly what to do, right? Obviously, you're gonna put your own spin on it, but you'll know exactly what to say to the girl. Okay, if she throws you an objection or a shit test, I give you my top 5 responses to those objections. So if she tells you she has a boyfriend, I tell you exactly what to say to overcome that objection, to spin it into attraction. If she tells you, you're not my type, you're too short, you're too fat, you're too old, whatever, I give you my response for that as well, okay, to overcome that objection and spin it into attraction, because all it is really is a shit test at the end of the day. That's all these women are doing is shit testing you. But I teach you exactly what to say to overcome these objections to the point where the girl gets attracted to you. And this is part of my free cheat sheet alone. Okay, the great part about the free cheat sheet and all of these lessons that I teach you in 7 months of mastery is that these lessons have already been field tested. Okay, they've been field tested to work. Okay, so I've already gone through the pain, failure, and rejection for you. All you need to do is just go out there and apply these lessons, because they've already been field tested to work. Okay, period. And like I said, the first month's only $1. Who can't afford $1? It's only $1, so take advantage of it. It's real simple to sign up. All you need to do is click that link below in my description box. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It just takes 2 seconds, so do that now, and I will see you in my next coaching video. All right, should we do the hater house tour? Yeah, let's do the hater house tour. This is where I show you guys the front of my house, because I know the hater trolls will be like, he's just like living in his car or shooting in a tiny box apartment. No, so you can see, it's a little cloudy today actually. It's the front of my house. See my neighborhood here, right? It's very quiet, very peaceful. You can tell everyone's very considerate of each other. No one's blasting their music or any shit like that. Everyone's very, very respectful. So, yeah, this is the front of my home. And you guys who follow me on Instagram, you know what's in there. It's my Corvette, a 65 Stingray, and my Range Rover, the one that I shoot in all the time, that you guys accuse me of living in, because I've been shooting a lot of my coaching videos there. You're like, why do you shoot in the Range Rover so much? I'm like, I just shoot where I feel most inspired, you know, and I was shooting a lot in the Range Rover during that time, and right now, I'm shooting mostly here at my house just because this is where I feel most inspired right now. All right, there you go.